You hustle daily, but no matter how hard you try, you're always stuck, as if there was some invisible wall preventing you from moving forward. What if this invisible wall was nothing external, but rather it was deeply embedded within your mind? Well, turns out that every time that you are not able to do what you said you were going to do, you are sabotaging yourself based on a conflict between the conscious and the subconscious mind. Elite performers know how to consistently remove the mental blocks preventing them from doing what they need to do. Average performers don't know how to do this, which is why they are always stuck. If you don't learn how to do this, you will always be in the same place. But once you learn it, everything will be exponentially easier. As a performance coach to 6, 7, 8 figure entrepreneurs, I've seen time and time again how deep subconscious reprogramming helps people that are otherwise very talented and IQ become absolutely elite at their fields, because they learn how to make their subconscious mind work for them, not against them. I was recently coaching a client who's about to become a second-time dad, and he was fearing the moment he'd been born because he was all anxious by remembering how hard it was on him the first time he became a dad. His first kid created a lot of havoc in his business that he didn't know how to handle. Now he had created this subconscious association that having one kid is going to destroy his business, which is a very natural thing if you have no control of your subconscious. This video, I'll show you exactly how to solve it step by step so you don't suffer because of it anymore. Welcome back. My name is Castillo, founder of Selfmastered Performance Institute for Founders. So the first step here is to understand that thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are all connected because they're part of your mental system. So when you are not doing the behavior you know you need to do, and you're driven by a negative emotion and you're having all sorts of crazy thoughts, those beliefs, emotions, and behavior are interconnected. So we can find the source of those malfunctioning thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. The first step is to monitor your thoughts and your emotions and see what are your self-management failures in order to find the outcome of a mismanaged system. Once you realize that you didn't do what you wanted to do, or you don't have the thoughts you want to have, or you're feeling the wrong emotions, that is the time to stop and start interrogating yourself. Why is that the case? Realize that the mind has two sides, the conscious and the subconscious. The conscious side of the mind is what makes plans and judges situations, and it is where we typically exist. Our sense of ego, our sense of self, is rooted in the prefrontal cortex. But then is the limbic system, which is the irrational kind of automatic side of the brain that has been programmed since childhood through the experiences that left an imprint in that subconscious mind. Over time, the experiences that happened to you in the past create a programming that directs your subconscious mind. And every time your conscious mind wants to do something that the subconscious mind does not believe it's possible, or is not willing to face the fear and the anxiety that comes from doing that thing, it sabotages. It creates friction. So what we have to do is to find the root subconscious negative pattern that is directing the thoughts, emotions, and behaviors we don't want. For example, procrastination might not be just a lack of discipline. It may be rooted in a deep fear of doing the thing you have been tasked on doing. Or if you're suffering from self-doubt, it's not because you don't believe in yourself right now, it's because you're associating the thing you're trying to do with a negative experience from the past that you haven't yet healed. In essence, everything is systematic. There's a connection. Nothing happens randomly. Every negative thought and emotion is just a product of a root cause that can be perfectly found and solved. Which leads me to step number 2, which is solving the root cause. And typically the best way to go about this is to use the present to heal the past. What that means is that we can change the meaning that negative memories have in order to liberate ourselves from them. By identifying the source of these negative emotions, we can consciously use something called cognitive reframing to assign a positive meaning to it. So the things that bother us, that create negative mental patterns, do not do it anymore. For instance, we can be afraid of talking in public, of public speaking. But if we are aware of that being a thing for us, we can conscientiously reframe fear into excitement, helping us pumping ourselves up before we have to deliver that speech. And that is truly powerful because that implies that we can use the present to heal the past, to leverage everything that happens in the past in order to help us have a better future. There's no such thing as someone that is broken. No, everyone is typically untrained in how to master their subconscious mind so they can actually get the job done. And then finally, the third step, which I think is also very powerful, is to leverage protocols throughout your day to consistently align conscious and subconscious, because this alignment is a lifelong pursuit. You are consistently doing things in real life that create new patterns in your mind. And if you don't have a reliable way of aligning conscious and subconscious, you'll forever be at the mercy of your deepest wounds. How I typically like to do this is first in the morning, I like to first meditate. Meditation allows me to create a separation between myself and my thoughts, and it trains my ability to discern, to see thoughts for what they are, artifacts that are external to me. I am not my thoughts. Then after that meditation, I do a subconscious reprogramming exercise in which I am describing exactly what I'm going to be doing throughout the day and what are my long-term and short-term goals that I'm working towards. And I typically help that with a visualization exercise that allows me to perfectly map out and design the things that I'm going to be doing, the beliefs that I'm going to be exercising, and what thoughts I'm going to be having throughout the day, throughout the week, and throughout the quarter, right? So after meditation and having a reprogramming exercise paired with visualization, I just go about with the day. And throughout the day, I use a tool, the dashboard, but you can use also a journal. Every time I'm facing a very strong negative emotion that tells me that there's a deeply rooted subconscious pattern creating problems, I pause and interrogate myself. And at the end of the day, I send myself a report about all of the things that I reflected that had to do with my performance. So I ask myself, what did I feel? What did I get done? Why didn't go well? What went well? And how can I improve tomorrow? And having these three protocols at the same time, first prepping myself for the day ahead, then visualizing everything that pertains to the day, and finally taking feedback on the things that I actually decided on doing, allows me to monitor my subconscious and consistently liberate myself of the things that are not serving me anymore. The present can be a fantastic tool to rewire the past in order to build a better future. But that implies realizing that you have a choice, realizing that every time you're faced with fear, anxiety, stress, maybe burning out, full-blown negativity, that is just the outcome of deeply rooted subconscious patterns that you haven't yet learned how to let go. And you can very well let those go rather quickly if you know how this works. If you want our help in how to do this, and this is guaranteed to really make you become a much more effective entrepreneur that does not have self-doubt, that does not self-sabotage when going after its goals, book a call with us and we'll help you install a performance protocol for this. And in any case, see you in the next video.